Dear friends and supporters of Iraqi Christian Relief Council, as you all know, we have been, as of recent, as of last Tuesday, we have been raising money for those Iraqi Christians, the Assyrians, the Chaldeans, and Syriacs who have been devastated in Beirut. All of Beirut has been devastated. Our heart goes out to every single Lebanese citizen that has suffered. Our hearts go out to those Lebanese friends of mine and others who live in the diaspora, and their hearts are with their family members. So please know my ministry, my organization, my board, everyone stands with all of you. In this case, though, we are here to speak with Alvera. Alvera is my partner on the ground in Beirut, and she's a refugee herself from Iraq who escaped ISIS. And she was there during the blast, very close to the blast. And we decided I spoke to her this morning, and she wept so bitterly. And I said, you have to come on and you have to let the world know what has happened there, because there's nothing like human beings' testimony. So Alvera will speak in the Assyrian Syriac language, and I will do my best to translate it as accurately as possible, as we speak two different dialects, but we both will do our best to bring the message of those who have suffered so much from Beirut. Alvera عزيزتي أويد باسمتا تاودي ساقي قتي لخلخة همزومة أمان وأم ناشط قد بشمايونا ينبغزايونا أها زولة خزرة بشينتي لخ.
عزيزتي جليانا بشينا قاوخ بشحيلة.
What Alvera just said, she said hello to all of you, and she's thankful to what the Iraqi Christian Relief Council is striving to do to meet the need of those who are in desperate need. And she explained that all of Beirut, all of Lebanon has been shaken up. Many countless are suffering there, especially the Iraqis who escaped ISIS, who escaped Iraq. They took refuge in Beirut, and once again, this calamity has followed them, and it has affected them terribly. So my questions for Alvera will be, the first question for her would be, where were you at that moment when this happened? What they have done in Beirut, because not many refugee children are able to be educated for various reasons, depending on the country. In Beirut, in Lebanon, they have made the schools specifically for students who are refugees. And Alvera and some of her friends and partners, actually, the priest that she works with and somebody else were there in the school an hour before the explosion. And she left there because she remembered that she had an appointment. And when she went, and the distance of the school from the location of the explosion was only 800 meters, less than 1 kilometer. And God has saved her. God has saved the priest and their other friend that were there. She told me this earlier, that they were there to prepare food baskets for the refugee families. And she left because she had an appointment. And the appointment was also close to the location of the explosion site. And she was on the first floor when the explosion happened. She said it only took 1 or 2 seconds, but there were so many thoughts that went through her mind. She was worried about her mother. She was worried about her aunt who had gone with her to this appointment. And she was thrown 5 meters, I believe. She was thrown 5 meters in the air with the massive explosion. And then the people around came and helped her up. My next question for her would be, what did you see when things settled down, the first few seconds after the explosion, when you came to? What did you feel? What did you see around you? So she's saying that there were so many casualties around her, children that were injured, others that had just suffered tremendously. She saw severe wounded individuals around her on the ground. And she says there was a smell, a poisonous smell in the air that she had, that everybody that had survived but were injured had consumed this poisonous scent, this poisonous smell. The school that she works at and teaches, and it's run for 500 Iraqi refugees, the Assyrian, Chaldeans, and Syriacs who attend the school. 500 children, my friends. And if it weren't for COVID-19, these 500 kids would have been in school. The only reason the school was closed was because of COVID. She says the massive explosion had affected the school so terribly, it has destroyed it in its entirety. The doors are gone, the ceilings are caved in, the glasses are shattered, and the glasses have penetrated the walls, the chairs, and if kids, imagine these children who escaped ISIS, who are now in Beirut, taking refuge. Imagine the catastrophe that would have happened. 500 kids either dead or injured. 500 families immediately impacted. And she repeatedly thanks God for his mercy, repeatedly thanks Virgin Mary for her intercession, that these children were not in school. They're being educated, they're being taught through online. But Alvera, you were at the hospital though. You left the school, you went to the hospital. Tell us what happened at the hospital. Fathers, parents, mothers crying, looking for their kids terribly injured. Fathers crying, looking for their kids, the kids missing. And she says that we, the Iraqis, who have suffered tremendously since 2003 with everything that has happened in Iraq, she said what we experienced on that day, there's nothing compared to that. She says it is very much like Hiroshima. She says with the pressure that was there, with the sound and the destruction, the way things have flown in the air and have penetrated the people, the children. This is, my friends, cataclysmic. Her brother is 7 years old, and he was home with her 17-year-old brother and her father. And I'm asking her what experience, how is her brother doing, the younger one, and what has she experienced herself? What is she experiencing now post this trauma? These are Iraqis, right? So they've gone through tremendous amount of suffering and persecution in the hands of ISIS, especially. And her younger brother, 7 years old, he remembers those, even though he was a baby, but he remembers from television their own experiences there on the ground in Iraq, and the flight and everything. All of that trauma is already instilled in this child. And then with the pressure, with the earthquake, with the earth shaking, and the sound of the explosion, obviously he's re-traumatized. And she wasn't there, the child's mother wasn't there, their other brother wasn't there. And then the signal goes out, and then there are a million things that are running through their minds, wondering, where are they alive, are they not there, is it just their signal that has gone? Then they realized it's the whole country that the signal had been disconnected for some time. But just imagine at that moment, the family is not together. And you're not able to find your brother, you're not able to find your mother, you're not able to find your sister. Imagine that trauma, not knowing what has happened. And why are we focused on the Christian refugees today? It's because they're being re-traumatized again because of the trauma she just experienced on Tuesday, starting on Tuesday. She's unable to sleep. She's not able to sleep. She's not able to have peace of mind because it has penetrated her so deeply, this trauma. Every little shake, every little sound, every little sudden something that happens around her shakes her. And this trauma has penetrated her. And she says, it is unforgettable what has happened here. It's unforgettable when we leave our home. Her home, by the way, like countless of others, don't have doors, don't have windows. The windows have broken. And what we're doing with Relief for Beirut, we're trying to address these issues, to fix their lives, try to remedy in a very, very small way, try to remedy their lives, whether it's by helping them fix their windows, whether it's letting them know that we're with them, provide them with food, give them a little bit of peace of mind. And she was explaining, she said, the entire country of Lebanon will never forget this disaster. Parents will never forget what has happened to their children, to their society. Children will never forget what happened to their siblings and others. This is something that has gone, I believe, in our history as a catastrophe that we cannot find words to describe its impact. And, you know, when the dust settles, only when the dust settles, we will start seeing the impact that it has had on these people. This is just the beginning, my friends. You're seeing Alvera, but she's representation of countless of others. This is why we decided it would be one thing if I told you the story, but it's another. You hear it from her, from Beirut, from the heart of Beirut. Tell us about the situation of our refugees, about the injured. Do we have anyone that has been deceased? What is the situation like? Moran, I wish you understood the way she's expressing herself. I think you see her body language, those of you who don't understand what she's saying, who don't speak the Assyrian language. But I will do my best to relay the message that she just gave. Alvera is saying that the impact that it has had on the refugees, once again, going through this traumatic experience, especially the children. After everything that they have seen in Iraq, they have seen ISIS, they've seen the dead people around them, they have seen people who have been terribly injured, they've lost their homes and everything. And Alvera, Father Yusuf of the Syriac Catholic Church, and others have worked so hard to bring some healing for the past few years in Lebanon and Beirut through their education, through their school system. And she says everything has gone back. She says, I don't want to say everything, but most of the hard work that we did to help these people heal, these children heal, it's gone back to the beginning, to zero. But at the same time, she doesn't want to say it's gone back to zero. It's not entirely lost. But she says children, ages 8 or 9, they're starting to ask questions. We're Christians. Why is this happening to us? You told us if we leave Iraq, this is going to end. This is going to finish. This is not going to follow us. And here we are again. We're impacted again. Why is this happening to us? Aren't we Christians? Why don't we catch a break? And she says, of course we tell them, of course Jesus is with you. Of course Jesus loves you. Do not lose faith. She says, we continue to instill faith and hope in these children. But the reality is, kids have seen so much. Their parents have suffered so much. And here they are again, experiencing probably even more of a traumatic experience. She said that there was a soccer court. The kids, the refugee children were playing. And God saved them in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, if they had stayed in the open field, all of these children would have been perished because there's nothing left of that soccer court. They left 2 minutes after the explosion. They went home. They went inside, and the explosion happened. So, my friends, this is the reality that Alvera so eloquently, so purely, so beautifully is expressing to us. We must feel their pain. And not many of us were refugees, just like they are. But somehow we had the privilege to live better lives. We have privileges today to live better lives. This is why we do what we do. This is why I decided for her to come and speak to you, not just to hear it from me, but from her, from someone who was traumatized in Iraq by ISIS, and now with this awful explosion, this cataclysmic explosion. Alvera just explained that a child of 10, at the time of explosion, he was so shocked, he was so afraid and shaken up. His father tells Alvera that he ripped his clothes in the moment of anxiety. And Alvera says 2 days later we went to visit him, and I held his hand and I said, my dear, my darling, it's okay, everything's okay. He said, no, things are not okay, and this child was 5 when ISIS invaded, and 5 years later this has happened to him. And he kept on asking, why has this happened? I asked her, what are your parting words? She said, I'm asking you, I'm imploring the people who are watching this video to please help this community, the Iraqi Christian community there. Because to begin with, they didn't have anything. To begin with, they weren't able to work. To begin with, they didn't have any abilities to pay rent, pay their for food or medication or any other thing. To begin with, they were devastated. In such terrible conditions they lived. And now they don't even have the windows that kept the cold or the heat out. That was a part that I added. She didn't say that, but I needed to really touch your hearts. I hope this message, I hope Alvera's message is reaching you. Please help the Iraqi Christian community there. All of Lebanon needs us. All of Lebanon needs our prayers. All of Lebanon needs our funding, opening our hearts to make financial sacrifices. And Alvera has said that several times. But in this case, we're imploring you to reach out to our own people. If you're an American, if you're a European, if you're a Canadian listening to this, know in the humanity's name, in Christianity's name, we need you. If you are an Assyrian, Chaldean, Syriac, in the name of our nation, we need you. Please visit our website, IraqiChristianRelief.org, IraqiChristianRelief.org. 100% of donations that will come for relief for Beirut and for Adopt a Refugee program, in this case, will go for this purpose. We're ready to make a disbursement. Alvera, we're ready to send $10,000 right away. We're wiring it tomorrow. We need much, much, much more, my friends, much more. There are between 5,000 to 6,000 Iraqi Christian refugees in Lebanon. And she was saying a lot of them, their homes that have been destroyed, a lot of them were in Beirut, but there are some that are a little bit farther, but still they've sustained great damage. So Basim Taraba, تعودي ساقي عزيزتي تيلا خمزم لك قالح مطيلا أنا إن خدمت ديوخن كل السيت دي إلى خدمت ديوخن. My entire board is your servant. I am your servant, and thank you for being here with us, Alvera.
Thank you so much, Juliana, for your support and your prayers. Thank you so much.
We're with you. We're
from
with
my
you.
heart. Thank you.
Basim Ta'azizi, we're with you through our prayers. We're with you in our minds day and night, and we're with you. And I know our supporters will not let you down. Those people that are listening to you, even if they can donate $1 simple, $1 will make a difference. It is not small. Every single dollar will make a difference. So if you can give at $1, $5, $200, $500, whatever you can give, just give, because I believe God will pay you 100 times over. Thank you so much. God bless you. Maria Amma Khazisti, Basimta Shoqanakhshin. Thank you so much. IraqiChristianRelief.org is our website. Our Facebook page is Iraqi Christian Relief Council. Please let us hear from you. Thank you, and God bless you, your families, and stay safe.